Hey, my name is Corey Beaumont. I'm a student at Edinburgh University. We're going to be working on a podcast on how to correctly perform the deadlift. It's one of the best full body exercises you can do. Works your quads, your hamstrings, glutes, upper back, lower back, even your traps. Your lats get involved. It's definitely one of my favorite exercises. Also very common to do incorrectly. So hopefully we can go over the appropriate steps to take to execute this with good form and reap all the benefits of it. So we're going to go inside the Y. We're in the Y now. The weight room was a little crowded, so we had to make do with the stretching room. Casey's going to help me demonstrate so I can do the talking and he'll do the doing. So when you're first approaching for the deadlift, a big thing you want to do before actually executing the lift is inhaling, and you'll be bracing your abs and kind of tightening up and keeping your core stable, which will help to brace your spine, and that will increase the efficiency that your energy is transferring through your body from the floor to your hands and the barbell. So once you get to the bar, you want to line it up about just with the middle of your foot. This will result in the barbell being a couple inches away from your shin bone. And when you kneel down to grab it, the barbell should be in contact with your shin. And the reason for this is the most efficient path for the bar to take in any movement is straight. And if you keep the bar against your legs, you're going to keep it vertical for the bar path. And a lot of guys will do a mixed grip. They'll have one hand open or supinated, and the other hand will be facing the rear. And this is to prevent, especially with heavier weights, the barbell rolling out of your hands and keeping your grip strong so that you don't lose the weight. So to actually begin the deadlift, the initial movement is going to be driving up and extending your knees, and it helps to try to imagine that you're trying to drive your feet through the floor. And this will incorporate your quads because those are primarily responsible for extending your knees. So I'll have Casey just start to the initial, good. You can just do a full rep, good. Right on back down, good. And kind of halfway through the movement, after that initial drive, you'll have your hamstrings, your glutes, and even your lower back taking over with the work being done. So to do this properly, you want your hamstrings and your lower back, your legs to be extending at the same time. A lot of people, especially with heavier weights, their hips will shoot up and then it turns into kind of a stiff leg deadlift, and it takes a lot of the quads out of the movement, and that's not what we want to do. So I'll have Casey do another rep, and we'll try to focus on how his hips move up as his back straightens. He does a good job of not shooting up. Perfect. That was good. Okay, so the deadlift, as I mentioned, is a full body exercise, and the first portion of that is obviously your legs. Like I mentioned, the quads extend the knee. Your glutes, when you squeeze those through the movement, that helps to extend your hips, and that really incorporates the lower body. But towards the top of the movement, you start to use the lower back, even your lats and your upper back too. And this happens when you get above the knees and you've extended and you round, or you pull back rather, your shoulders and keep your chest up. And this is going to put a lot of, it's going to require your traps and your rhomboids for that scapular retraction. So if we can kind of focus at the top of the movement, how Casey will pull his shoulders back like that and keep everything tight. And even on the way down, good. On the way down, your lats are even being used because you're keeping the bar close to you, but gravity is going to want to pull the bar away from you, but keeping it close is going to require your lats to do that work to pull it back. So now that we're at the point where we've moved the weight, we're standing up, everything's tight, our core is tight, our shoulders are back, our glutes are squeezed. To lower the weight, we don't want to lose form and lose our tightness. And something that I learned, and it's always stuck with me from a conference actually over the winter, was if you can imagine you've got your hands full of groceries and you need to close your car door, with your butt, you tend to just poke it back, and that's the main thing you want to do to start the lowering of the bar. So Casey's gonna drop his hips back like that, and at the same time his knees are breaking to help lower it, and that pretty much completes the deadlift. So just as kind of a review, thank you. You want to inhale and keep your core tight initially off the floor. That's going to be your quads. You're going to get a lot of heel drive to extend your knees. About halfway through that motion, maybe right around your kneecaps, your glutes and your hamstrings are responsible for the hip extension at the top as well as your lower back. And it's very important to maintain a flat back through this motion because, like the barbell, the most efficient way for energy to transfer through your body is through the natural curve of your spine. So if you round your back out, it's a longer process of transferring the energy, and you lose some of that force. So once you're at the top and everything's tight, you want to close the car door and break your knees and lower it down to the floor, keeping the barbell up against your body the whole time. And if you're doing several repetitions in a row, you want to eliminate any sort of bouncing off the floor, because as the name suggests, the whole point of a deadlift is to be pulling the dead weight. So there's basically no eccentric portion of this movement. It's all concentric. And that wraps up the how-to portion. I'd like to thank Casey for demonstrating.